What is up, all you beautiful people? It is I, AkemiTCG, and I just finished the remote YCS and I played Floowandereeze. There's not going to be any fancy edits to this video. I'm just going to record straight, pretty much unfiltered, no cuts, nothing. All the stuff is still in. My thoughts about how well this deck performed and what my philosophy was in this deck. I personally did not perform too well. I'm not gonna lie. Like, either A, I was bricking, or B, my opponent just had every single hand trap that was built in the game to stop this deck. Not only because it's relevant to just this deck, but also relevant to like pretty much every other deck, like PKs and stuff like that. And it was just a really, really rough time. So I'm going to split this into a couple parts. So first, I'm just going to go over the deck I'm playing and the philosophy behind it and why I tried something different for this one compared to my previous builds of this deck. Two, my thoughts on this current build, and then how it fares to the meta and the mistakes I've made, because I definitely made a lot of mistakes and I don't want you guys, either I want you guys to learn from my mistakes and also just to talk about it and just vent about it, on the camera, on YouTube. And also, lastly, the changes I would make to this deck, because they are going to be colossal changes. So anyways, let's get started. So we have, that's the field center. I'm just going to put that to the side. So basically, this deck profile is going to be just the standard stuff you have to play in the deck, in my opinion. And then at the bottom, there's going to be the stuff that you can probably switch out depending on how you want to play the deck. So obviously, just one toucan. I don't feel like you can play more than one toucan. You don't really want to see it at all unless, you search for it. Late game, it's really dope because, Stree, toucan, you do your thing and it's good. But other than that, you don't want to see it in your opening hand. 2 Stree, because 2 is good. Storm Winds. Most decks lose to this card, especially if you have M-Bend plus another interruption. Especially if you have the trap, it's usually GG if you can go statue with M-Pen on board. Next, you have 3 Eagle. Some people play 2. I think it's best at 3. You want to see as many names as possible. There's going to be games where you just don't draw names, and it does happen, depending on how many cards you play in this deck. I am playing 42, but I will try my utmost best to cut this down to 40, but it's so hard, especially this format. 3 Robina, you need 3 because it searches the level 4 or lower birds. Or it just says, yeah, level 4 or lower birds, which is wicked dope. 3 Shifter in the main. If you're not playing Shifter, if you're playing the Dogma package, you could, but with Nadir at 2, it doesn't really justify playing the package. Nadir at 3 made sense, but Nadir at 2, it's just not that good, and Shifter just hurts way too many decks just not to play. So Shifter is, in my opinion, really good right now. So a lot of decks, like for example, really good example, you play against Prank Kids. The moment they normal summon a monster, right after resolution of them normal summoning, you shift to them. They can't gamma you because they don't have anything, they have a monster on the field. So on resolution of the normal summon, you shift to them. And then it usually ends their turn. Unless they already have the wandering package ahead of time, then that's a little bit different. 1 M-Pen. You should run at least 1, but I like playing 2. I think 2 makes sense because sometimes they're going to drop with the first one. So you use the trap to get the second one out, and it just works. 1 Ryza, and then 1 Avion. I caught out this now, personally. I realized that in this format, I cannot afford to see bricks. I've seen some builds just playing literally just 1 M-Pen, 1 Ryza, 1 Avion, and you guys have so much balls because the moment that M-Pen leaves the field, that's it. But you kind of don't want to ever draw into multiple M-Pens, and even though I'm running 2, I kind of draw into 2 a lot more often than I want to admit. So I've tried playing 1 at one point. In some matchups, I do side out 1. It's just really specific, but I always, 99 times out of 100, would like to play 2 M-Pen. And then if I've already interrupted this summon, and I already have statue in the field, then I will summon Ryza. D-Fissure, I wasn't playing this before, and I'm like, wait a minute, this card is so good. Stop so many decks. It's kind of a pseudo second call buy because you stop their Veiler, they can't draw you, they can't ogre you. So you play Fissure, and then pretty much your field spell is all set to go unless they happen to be playing Typhoon. That's the only thing I can think of that works. But if you D-Fissure, you're all set with your field spell. It's a guaranteed combo. The only neg is it doesn't stop Imperm, which is, it's kind of rough. One terraforming, obviously you have to search it. One call by. Even though you shifter with call by doesn't really work, but you almost never draw into both at the same time. And plus, if you're searching already, let's say like you're going Robina, right? And they don't ash you, especially if it's not chain block, because they can't ash it if it's chain block. Then the moment they don't ash you, then that's it. Like they can't do much. So you don't even play shift at that point. You would just go call by their ash, and it's probably going to be ash. Can't be anything else. And then on the same chain, you chain shifter afterwards. That's how you should play that chain if you open both call by and shifter at the same hand. 3 map, good card. Not too much to talk about. You have to play this at 3. 3 duality. 3 prosperity. People play Extrav versus Prosperity. I like Prosperity better just because you get to dig 6. I know it's a lot more expensive, and I'm sorry. It is, but like the 6 card, there's so many times where the 6 card was evenly, or the 6 card was exactly what I need. The 6 card was the Robina. The 6 card was the map. That Prosperity makes sense. I get the appeal of Extrav because it is 100% a +1. The only neg is you have to do it during the beginning of main phase 1. Whereas Prosperity, you can wait till you go full combo. Sometimes you already have full combo, then you have Prosperity. So you go full combo first, and then afterwards, in main 2, you play Prosperity, and then grab whatever you need. 3 Advent. Card is cracked. I can't see myself not playing 3. I was playing 2 at one point, and I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? You have to play the 3 Advent. This Duke's Imperm, this Duke's Ash, this Duke's Qishang. So that's a good card. 1 Floowandereeze of the Unexplored Winds. I do like opening it, but the thing is, at the same time, I can't fathom playing more than 1. It just doesn't make sense. I really am trying to make it make sense, but it's not. You just don't play more than 1 of this. And then 1 Dreaming Town. Every time you've opened Dreaming Town, it's also wicked crack too. I've had one game where I activated. I summoned Robina. No, I used the field spell, and then my opponent activates Conquistador, and I'm like, okay, and he's like, chain Sanguine, and I'm like, okay, chain link 3, activate Dreaming Town, normal summon Wind Barrier Statue. The whole entire interaction just fizzles. So it's very, very good. So these are the cards, in my opinion, you have to play, or it's like 99.99% of builds will play literally exactly these cards. And for those reasons, D-Fissure is like an iffy one. Some people don't like it, but I love this card because sometimes, like, if they ash your play, then like afterwards you're like D-Fissure, then sometimes some decks just can't function. Like, for example, PK, like, what do they do under D-Fissure? Like, they have to find a way to pop it, or so sometimes they have to slow down and go like summon 2 and then go to Nightmare Phoenix, pop the Fissure, just to try to out it. But they already lost so much stuff because they have to commit 2 monsters that are going to get banished, and then they have to discard 1, which is also going to get banished. So they're down 3 cards, which is very, very prominent. So these are the stuff I'm playing in the main, but it's kind of like peripherals. So I was playing evenly matched in the main. Duster. I was actually playing 2 evenly matched in the main. My reasoning for this is I don't really have... Well, this deck doesn't really have ways to break boards. It has an extremely, extremely hard time doing so. So I was like, okay, I don't really win the die roll that often, so I can just evenly match and Duster to play my way through. There is so many times where game 1 and I'm going second and evenly matched does come in clutch. But for this, the whole entire duration of the YCS, I did not open evenly match game 1 at all. So I'm thinking of trying to take it out, and I'll talk about like what I'm going to augment these out for. And then for this YCS, I was also playing 2 crossout. With the crossout package was Ghost Ogre, Imperm, Ash. I know obviously a lot of people play Imperm Ash, which stops the whole play, and Ghost Ogre stops the field spell too. So I like crossout a lot because A, in the mirror, it's busted if you play the mirror, and then B, when you side stuff in like Droll and Lancia, you have like other ways to guarantee your plays. But the issue is every single time I resolve crossout, and it has come in clutch, but there's not a single time where I've resolved crossout and it won me the game because they always had a second or third hand trap. And I just thought that it was kind of lackluster for this deck. I'm trying to think of a deck that really, really needs crossout to resolve, but this deck is kind of like a sitting duck if you don't really have the right pieces. I don't know how else to put it. It's a sitting duck in so many situations that I felt like cross out was essential. But at the same time, when I thought about that, like every time I had cross out, if I had like, let's say like another Ash, another Imperm, and just use those at the right time, or another Ogre, then I could have also stopped their play. So the idea is I want to stop their play. Like the issue, also second issue here is these are going second cards, and these are going, oh, well, these are going first cards. You want cross out, you know, going first. So I'm gonna swap these out, and I'll talk about it after. 100% talk about it after. And then for the extra deck, that's my hair. Oh. Kingasachi Fucho. I don't think I want to change anything in the extra deck, honestly. There's not much to change. It doesn't really come up that often. Shureg. Vedant for the Baroness Fergie. All of this are literally just Maximus targets, and occasionally I can link off to go for these if I really want to. I think I've had one game. This does not happen at the YCS. This happened at a locals where I shoe-ragged someone for game because I just had 4 different names and I didn't use any of their effects that turn. So I shoe-ragged his Vanish and it was pretty cracked. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty cracked. Nightmare Phoenix, just to pop something that's not fun. Zeus, Downer, Nightingale. I had to go into this against a Sourceful player and it helped a ton. There was one time where they popped my Robina with Gamma while I had Zeus on the field, and I put Natis under the Zeus, and then they shooted the Zeus, and they completely forgot about Natis under the Zeus, so I just popped their one of their cards, and they just couldn't play. It was pretty dope. Skull Knight, obviously for Maximus. Another Natis for Maximus. You could play a Mega instead of a second Natis, completely up to you. One Makaba and one Anima. Anima came up once, but they Valored it, so it can't really do much. Happens. And then my sideboard, I'm going to pretty much change almost literally every single card. And I'm going to talk about it at the third part of the video. Snao, some more. I liked... Issue here with Snao is I do like the quick effect book, and it's very good in so many situations. But in this particular format, I feel like a lot of decks just do stuff to bait, and a negate's just much stronger. So I will try cutting this out. I really don't want to, because Snao has won me a lot of games in the past. So it's just something I got to think about. But Dark Samorg. If you're going first, if you're playing against Glue, like any Eldritch deck, you kind of just win unless they open Eldritch in hand. So it's a really good card. I like it a lot. Lancia for the PK deck. Wait, where's my second Lancia? Oh my god, where'd I put it? Oh no. Is it in my box? Aha, I found it. It's 2 Lancias. For the PK matchup and also for crossout. You side this in. If you're going first, you side in 1 Lancia, 1 crossout just to see. If you open crossout, then it works. 2 Droll. Same idea. Against some decks just lose straight up the Droll, so it's pretty cracked. Extra evenly, the third evenly. 3 Judgments for going first. Lose 1 turn because it's cracked against a lot of decks. Like, it's literally just a one-sided skill drain. Like, what do people do against lose 1 turn? They don't. And obviously, just 3 Cosmics for if they flip the TC boot, they flip the skill drain. This is the out. So, we're moving to the second part of this video where I just discuss what happened at this tournament. So, I played exclusively against combo decks. I did not play against a single control deck, and the only control deck I played was against Despia, but they still went Needle Fiber. Or no, they didn't go Needle Fiber combo, but they kept going off with the Fight First stuff and everything, and I was pretty overwhelmed. Honestly, trying the crossout package was a huge mistake that I made, because I saw it and I'm like, okay, that sounds like a really dope idea, but committing this much deck space to potentially have an like, there's times, like, to potentially have a chance to negate something that could stop the rest of my deck. Whereas I could have just played... So, I could have just played 3 Imperm, 3 Ash, or 2 Ogre, 2 Ash, 2 Imperm. And it would have prevented the boards from even happening in the first place. And if the boards didn't happen, then I wouldn't even have to play this. Or I can go, like, just straight 40, because right now I'm playing 42. I can literally just play 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, or 2 Ash, 2 Imperm, 2 Ogre, like I said before. And the idea is because I'm playing only like exactly 40, I maximize my chances of being able to, you know, play the game, play my deck, especially if I'm going first. And then going second, I would side completely, like stuff like Evenly Matched, Dark Ruler, etc. So I have to really go back to the drawing board in this. I did think it was a really good idea, the crossout package, but I just preferred my previous builds more. I even preferred my Nadir build more than the crossout package. It just seemed like Nadir is just really good Ash bait. You just Nadir and they're like, oh shit, I got Ash. And then they Ash it, and then you just go off with Flu Robina, and they're like, oh no, what's going on? So I did like that a lot, but the only neg is you can't play the shifter. So I played against exclusively combo decks. I could not break a single player's board because every time they made a board where they had Savage, Baroness, oh no, they had Arc, Baroness, they always had 2 more things in their hand. Like one guy had Valor, Ash, and then he had Baroness, and then Herald on the field. And I'm like, I cannot out this. I can play through 2 things, but I can't play through 4. So even though I did have the cross out for his Imperm, I couldn't keep, you know, playing, which really sucks. So I think this is lackluster. I could have just prevented stuff from happening by just, you know, playing Ash and Imperm. So I'm going to try that. So which segues cleanly into the third part of my video, like what I would change. So this is the main. I'll probably just take these 2 out. So this, I will try 3 Ash and then 3 Imperm. I'll try that first, and then I'll try, if that doesn't work, I can try 2 Ogre, 2 Ash, 2 Imperm. That's also an idea as well, because Ash is only once per turn, so I can go 2 Ogre, 2 Imperm. Where's the Ogre? 2 Ogre, 2 Imperm. And I think I'll try that. So that's going to be the main. I'll try 2 Ogre, 2 Ash, 2 Imperm. That sounds a little bit better to me in my head. Because also the Ogre outs the Wandering Griffin too, which is really dope. And then for the side, oh boy. So I do still like the Samorg, especially if you're going first. I like these if you're going first against a trap heavy deck. Oh, these against a combo heavy deck. These are going first in general, because Solemn Judgment is a really good card. Droll and Lancia both stop me from doing stuff, so I would like to try 3 Dark Ruler No Mores to see if I like that. 3 Cosmic. And then it would just be the 3 Evenly Matched here. So that seems like the play. Like 3 Dark Ruler, because Droll also stops me. 3 Judgment. The Samorg will stay. The lose 1 turn. 3 Cosmic, 3 of that. And I'm not playing... I wouldn't play Lancia's, because Lancia also stops my deck too. So I think, honestly, that is the play. And I will test it back. So yeah, that's all I got for this video. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Big shout outs to Hanko for making it so far with Flu. It just kind of sucks he got cheesed out in time at top 4, but he did a phenomenal job with Floowandereeze. He made me, one of my biggest mistakes was underestimating the amount of just like pure negates decks make this format. Like, I can also potentially see myself like main decking Dark Ruler as well, just because there's so many oppressive boards people make nowadays, and it's wicked hard to out. And not just that, like they make the board and they still have interruptions in hand as well. So one cross out isn't enough to be able to play through the board. So instead of that, it'd be better to just play really hard outs, or just main deck, you know, Ash, Ghost Ogre, like stuff that's good going first or second. Because if I go first, I draw Ash, I'm like, it's fine. If I go second, if I already have the Ogre, Ash, or Imperm in hand, then I can already use it to my advantage. So that's just something I really have to think about. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed this discussion. This was just me just rambling on about Floowandereeze for about 20 minutes. I'll just play. I do have some light music in the background, so it's gonna be a little bit more bearable to listen to. But to the Flu players, to Hanko, thank you so much for keeping the deck alive. I kind of lost faith in the deck after I played because I was like, wait, why am I have Robina map, like why can't I make a board? Like I just can't play through interruptions. And then I just realized I'm like, wait, duh, I'm not playing against the meta. I'm not playing Dark Ruler. I'm not playing stuff to stop the meta. Like you can't play Droplet in this deck. You have to play Dark Ruler because you can't afford to put stuff in the grade. So, anyways, enough of that. I'm AkemiTCG. I'll be back with more content very soon. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
The world ends now.